On 28th of March, this can be regarded as a black day. So the devastating earthquake took place around Myanmar, Thailand, mostly Southeast Asia. So on request, I am half-heartedly making this video. Anyway, from this we must have learned certain lesson. But what is the basic background? What for this? Such kind of devastating earthquakes are frequently happening along this area. We will be discussing on that. So let's begin. See, this earthquake magnitude it was 7.7 in this area. In this map you can see this north-south line along this portion that earthquake epicenter occurred, this linear part. Okay, if we draw a section, you will be understanding what is called epicenter and what is focus or hypocenter. Those things I will be discussing in brief because those are well-known factors, but in a different way we should understand, because most of the textbooks in a very generalized way they discuss. But okay, since our video is also required to be crisp, I will be making this in a concise manner. So overall, in this earthquake around 5,000. Of course, when I am recording, as per the available record, 4,390 plus in Myanmar and 36 in Thailand is reported, and lot of further works are under progress because lot of missions. India also have launched missions. They have supplied the different necessary rescue teams to that areas. But presently, in any way, Myanmar is in most problematic zone. Now try to understand what is the reason behind that. So this is India. So east of India, along the eastern margin of Indian plate, there is a plate boundary. Okay, and along that plate boundary, most of the things happen. So basic concepts I will be discussing on this. First, try to understand what happened in this sector. So this is the Indian map, Indian plate map. Okay, this north is Eurasian plate, this is Indian plate. Don't confuse with political map. This is just geological map. So overall Indian territory is not shown here. This portion, India as a country go beyond this plate boundary. Overall, this portion of Indian plate covering this much part of India. Okay, so there is no territory, no country-wise map. It is not like that. It is just plate map. Try to understand. It should not be make politicized. Okay, so now Indian plate is going below Eurasian plate. Since it is going below, there is a convergent motion. So this is a subduction zone. This Indian plate is going below Eurasian plate. Keep on going. So since this is convergent, this portion of course will be divergent. So along this Australian plate, Indian plate, Somali plate, Indian plate, these are the boundaries where divergent motion is felt. And as we know, I will be discussing on this also, that divergent boundaries cause little bit lesser harsh earthquake. And moreover, this part there is no settlement. It is totally Indian Ocean. So it is a safe zone, and unfortunately there is small scale earthquake. Mega earthquake is taking place around this convergent boundary as well as strike slip boundary. Okay, I will be discussing why it is so. So in general, if we try to understand the plate setting globally, there are 7 major plates which are more than 20 million square kilometer area. Minor plates are less than 20 million square kilometer area. Those plates in between 1 to 20. Okay, less than 1 million square kilometer area, those plates are called microplates. So therefore, in this sector, broadly if we see, it is a main problem between Eurasian and Indian plate. But since Indian plate going below Eurasian plate, so eastern and western boundary will be showing transverse movement, strike slip movement. So along this main problem arises. So what are the different plates? As a major plate, Eurasian and Indo-Australian, and specially Indian plate is called a minor plate. So major versus this minor, and there are two different microplates as well, Sunda plate and Burma plate. So for time being, let's forget about these microplates, mainly in Eurasian plate and Indian plate. So this plate, two plate movement is the main problem. Okay, regional vector distribution further subdivided. That is why these kinds of microplates further developed, and they are also localized deformation pattern, small scale fault, thrust, so many things occur. Now overall, reason wise, if we see 250 million years back, Gondwana land started developing. After breaking of Pangaea, Tethys Sea opened up, and then Gondwana land, and eventually Gondwana further got broken down gradually, and by Jurassic, then Cretaceous, Indian minor plates started moving drastically towards north, and gradually this portion, northern part of the Indian plate, had collided with Eurasian plate, southern portion, and it got amalgamated along this, where I have shown that cursor, moving that cursor. And it is, things are ongoing at present also, it is keep on going below. So and that is why the different plate boundaries, these are the region of instability. Overall, if we see the plate distribution along these boundaries, most of the earthquakes occurs. This earthquake epicenter, if you see, these are the locus. So these are distributed like this, and inside this plate, there is very little bit earthquake occur. That is localized phenomenon. In any way, if we see convergent plate margins show higher degree of deformation as well as tectonics, and that is why eventually huge earthquakes occur along trench as well as venue of zone. So up to 700 kilometer it can go down, and that is why due to this intense stress distribution, huge amount of stress may build up, and from deep focus it can come up. Okay, and earthquake focus epicenter I will definitely discuss in subsequent slides, but try to understand that strike slip produce larger than divergent but lesser than convergent. So overall convergent plate boundary are most dangerous, but presently, even if we see, depending upon the settlement, so many populations are there in this habitated land around Myanmar. So 7.7 intensity earthquake was huge, huge devastation. So overall depth and intensity wise, highest is convergent boundary and lowest is divergent. So this is Indian plate movement. If we see animation within this last 100 million years, age is going down, and now it has been collided. And after collision, eventually Indian plate keep on moving down. This north-south compression lead to east-west regional thrust sheets, and along this eastern boundary of India, where I am moving this cursor, here is this Burmese plate or Indian plate, northern eastern margin. Along this strike slip faulting, and that is the reason that strike slip fault motion causing the present earthquake. So that earthquake causes what? Why this much damage? Because of liquefaction. What happened in liquefaction? If we see these gray color balls, they are solid, and bluish color is cyan color is liquid. So with progressive shaking, what happened? These kinds of solid framework gradually go away, and they detached from one another, and eventually they act like totally floating blocks within water saturated portion. So due to this kinds of water saturation, firmness go away, and it can hold any structure. It become unstable. Anyway, let's go back to this our slides. So Myanmar portion, if we see further detail, this is the focus. For representation purpose, I am showing this is a reverse fault. If actually there is strike slip movement. In any fault, reverse, whether it is reverse, normal or strike slip movement, that exact origin from which point most of the seismic waves started, that is called focus. And if we just project this vertically to the surface, that particular point is called epicenter. Now in 2 dimensions it is point. Now if we see 3-dimensional way, it will become a line. That is why this epicenter is along north-south. It is a block, two-dimensional section. Try to understand, visualize with 3D. It will become a line. So that epicenter, this is the epicenter. Okay, to the surface, this is a geographic phenomenon, and focus or hypocenter is of course a geological phenomenon. Subsurface, this is surface. So overall, surface wise, how to differentiate, understand the focus, maximum intensity where it is found, that is maximum devastation area is called epicenter. Okay, so therefore magnitude and intensity, these two parameters come into the picture. Intensity is a relative term, as I have told. Maximum devastation. If there is no settlement, little bit lesser devastation. Huge settlement, more devastation. So this is a relative term. So therefore, it may be misleading sometimes. Moreover, away from devastation, main epicenter, devastation will be decreasing. So it is perception based parameter. So more concrete parameter is magnitude. It is real and unique parameter which remains fixed based on Richter scale. That amount is fixed. For example, in case of intensity, this central part, epicenter part is high, maximum value. This contour is relatively lesser value. This contour is relatively further lesser value. This is isoseismal line, for example. And here, in case of Richter scale, it is giving fixed value. That logarithmic scale is often regarded as moment magnitude scale, MW. For it is a logarithmic, means for example 2, 3, 4. These 2, 3, 14, 3 values. 3 will be 10 times more than 2. 4 will be 100 times more than 2. 5 will be 1000 times more than 2. And likewise it will keep on increasing. And this logarithmic scale, once you understand, I am not going to further detail because it is very basic things. But at least this much you must know, 7 to 7.9, that magnitude is regarded as major phenomena, major earthquake. Overall, on an year, in every annually, at least 18 these kinds of earthquake occur. Then why this sudden Myanmar earthquake is getting highlighted? Because it has been more devastational, because it occurred, that epicenter unfortunately directly found along densely populated area. Unfortunately, great earthquake once happened in Nepal, this northern part of Indian plate boundary, the height and higher. These kinds of devastating earthquake occur annually, one at least. But these are not felt because sometimes they can be affected. This can be directly take place on habitated area, and whenever deep sea or other inhabited portion, these kinds of earthquake happen, we are not giving them much attention. So overall, further if we see Myanmar, it is situated between Indian and Eurasian tectonic plate. This fourth remaining two microplates are relatively lesser significant because they are main controlling phenomena. And that north-south line, as I have shown, that is passing strike slip movement, passing along lateral movement between these plates, passing along densely populated area, including Mandalay, Yangon. Okay, that is why this kind of seismic hazard. And moreover, here super shear rupture occur. That is unique because preliminary analysis so far that suggested earthquake in this area is characterized as super shear phenomena where rupture propagates further, very faster than the normal ordinary shear wave velocity. You must be knowing P wave, S wave, body wave, surface wave, those things I am not going to detail because those are very fundamental things. It will be taking much more time, your precious time. So in any way, surface wave causes more damages. Okay, so liquefaction is the main phenomena where there's most of the problem occur. Because of liquefaction, significant ground deformation and structural damage occur because no strength observed in soil. And more importantly, why Myanmar is in crisis, because humanitarian, geopolitically, if we see that humanitarian crisis already is ongoing because of civil war like situation, civil conflict, military rules, and infrastructure damage happen, but restricted areas along certain region due to these kinds of problem conflicts, and further hampering the and hindering the delivery of aids to the affected population. Indian government also have launched several missions and operations for rescue, and they are giving supplying aids. With this, I hope all the best. But in future, if we predict, these things will be happening frequently, because until and unless that this entire plate boundary get freeze, because Indian plate is further going and going and going down. So until and unless this kind of motion is totally stopped, it will be keep on increasing. So you must keep and watch on this Indian plate, not Indian territory, Indian plate boundaries, northern plate especially along, and this eastern boundary of Indian plate. Here convergent motion, here strike slip motion. Of course, this and this also take certain show certain earthquakes, but these are not that much important because these are, of course, divergent boundary. Here also moderate degree of problem is there, but no settlement, no human settlement, no countries, no land boundaries, nothing is there. So that is why apparently we need to mostly focus on these two boundaries, eastern boundary and northern boundary of Indian plates. I hope it is quite clear for time being. Thank you.